Hello, everyone. Good evening. I hope you all can hear me, making sure we've got this all set up. We're ready to go. Recording's on. Awesome. Okay, well, welcome to day 3 of the boot camp. Get clients from other people's events, how to collect credit cards and set up business cards at any event. I'm super excited for day 3 because day 3 is when we really get into some of the juicy, meaty stuff and break down exactly how you do that. What are the strategies? So today's theme is how to make big money as a sponsor or speaker, right? Or how to make big money from sponsorship and speaking. That's the theme for tonight, for day 3. So if you're just joining us for the first time, welcome. This training is cumulative. So if you have missed day 1 and day 2, definitely you want to go back and you want to listen to the recording for day 1 and day 2. Normally I don't do recordings. I always want to encourage people to show up and be live, number one, because I know I don't always listen to a recording. But I am making a recording available. I'm making an exception because we have a lot of people joining us from all over the world, which is super exciting. We have some people joining us tonight from France. Hello in France. We have some people joining us from Ireland. Hello, Ireland. That is one of my dream vacations and trips, is to go and see the rolling green hills and drink beer and just enjoy Ireland. So hello, Ireland. Also people from the UK, and then we've got people from all over the United States as well, and Canada. So yay, go Canada, go US, and not that I'm specific or partial to one or the other, but yeah, just super excited that we have so many people from all over the world that are interested in this topic and really want to implement the strategy in their business. So because of that, I am making the recordings available. So after tonight, once the 3rd day of the bootcamp is done, tomorrow we'll have all 3 of the recordings ready for you guys. So whether you want to go back and you want to re-listen to it, or you missed day 1 or day 2 or something, that'll be available to you, as well as the gifts. When you complete listening to the entire recording, you'll get the gifts as well, plus also a chance to do the homework assignments, because that's where you get some live feedback from me on your homework assignments. I got to see this chat. That looked funny. Hello, Sandy. Thank you for joining us, Sandy. Yeah, so I'm super excited for today. And I want to talk about why I decided to do this boot camp, because this, I've taught clients and I've been working with clients on this strategy and teaching them how to do it in their business, but this is actually the first time I'm ever doing a live boot camp on this topic or teaching it in this capacity. So I wanted to share with you why. The reason I'm doing this training is because, number one, this is the exact strategy that I applied to my business to help it quickly grow to multi-6 figures. And it works whether you're trying to build a 7-figure business or even if you just want to bring in a few extra $1,000s to your house, you know, right? This into your home, this strategy works. But I really wanted to do this training because a lot of business owners we meet, including other sponsors that we talk to at events, you know, we call them our booth buddies, right? Because they're next door to us, and so we kind of hang out. We become booth buddies, as we call it. But a lot of them have asked me, what are you doing? You know, they don't get to really see us completely in action, even though they're next door, because they're busy talking to people. But they see us closing clients. They see the people coming up to our booth and everyone else's is empty. And they're like, what are you guys doing? Like, what's the secret sauce? You know, and we'll meet up for drinks, right, at the bar after the event and say, oh, how'd it go? Oh, we talked to this person. Oh, how'd it go? You know, and they're beat, they're exhausted because it's the end of the event, but you know, they're complaining because they didn't get the results that they wanted. And then we share with them that we already closed sales. We've got, you know, 10 sales calls booked already or something like that. They're like, what in the world are you guys doing? So we figured it's time. It's time to share our secrets and share why we're able to do this and why our clients have been so successful with this strategy as well. So that's why we're doing this training. So a couple quick ground rules I just want to cover before we dive into content and some logistics is for this training to really work, there's a couple things that you need to definitely do and you need to commit to. Number one, you need to be focused. So if you have any distractions, you've got Facebook up, you've got your email on, you know, the door's open and you can hear the kids in the background or something. Cut out all the distractions that you can and really be focused, because you could miss a key thing that I say that could make all the difference for you. Because maybe you understand some parts already, but there's like a few key things that you're missing. So make sure that you're focused, you have no distractions. Number two, you got to do the work. You really need to do the work on this. And that includes the homework assignments. There's some of you that have been doing the homework assignments, and then there's a handful that haven't. And it's really important that you turn these homework assignments in. I am a personal believer of the statement, how you do anything is how you do everything. So how you're showing up here and how you're playing here, and this boot camp is a reflection of how you're showing up in your business. It's just the truth, right? And I've had to learn that lesson myself the hard way a few times. But so do the work, show up, listen to the whole boot camp from start to finish, day 1, day 2, and day 3, and do the homework assignments, because there's also the reward of you doing those homework assignments. I will reach out to you if I haven't already. Some of you I have, but after the boot camp, I'm going to respond to every single question, every single person that hands in their homework, and give you some, you know, say, hey, you nailed it, or here's a way to tweak it, or maybe we need to jump on the phone and just help you get a little bit more clear. So make sure you do the work, you show up, and do the homework. And I just want to give a shout out to those of you that have been doing the homework. You've been doing a great job. I've given you some feedback already, or I will be sending you some tomorrow. Lori, excellent job. Sandy, Julie, I apologize, I might say this name wrong. Tozin, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I think you're from France. And I did take French in high school and in college, so I should know better, so I apologize. And Renee, so those are just a handful of people. There's others that are doing it, so I just wanted to give you guys a shout out. You've been consistently showing up and doing the work, so good for you. You guys are committed. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to post them in the chat as we're going through, because even if I'm not able to answer every single question, I'll do my best to try and answer them, but I want to make sure we move through content and that everyone is getting everything. But if I don't, I am able to go back and look at the chat, and I can reach out to you after the bootcamp as well. So if you do have any questions, feel free. You know, this is meant to be a fun, interactive training, so fire away. Any questions that you've got. I might answer them later on in the training, but fire away, okay? All right, so before we get into content, I wanna do a quick review, right? I talked about this yesterday on day 2. They've done studies that when you review something that's brand new that you just learned, you review it 24 hours, then again 48 hours, then a week, and then a month, it's much more likely to be ingrained and cemented in your memory, and you're much better to retain it, right? So I want to do a quick review, very, very brief today, because we reviewed it yesterday. Day 1 was how to find the best events. This is so key, right? Because if you're in the wrong room, you're not going to make money, you're not going to get the right clients. So we started out by talking about your why. And by your why, I define that as what your business goals are. Why do you want to do the strategy in your business? How is the money you're going to make with the strategy going to impact your business and also impact the people that you love? I just saw a question about the replays. Yes, I explained that at the beginning of the bootcamp. You probably just joined us. I will be sharing that once all 3 bootcamps are complete. So right now we're doing a recap on day 1. We talked about your why. It's important to know what your business goals are, because that's going to impact the strategies that you choose. So you may not need to do a big, huge sponsorship. It may just work for you to go and attend events based on what your business goals are and how much, excuse me, money you want to make from events. Or it makes sense for you to do big sponsorships because you're trying to grow that 7-figure plus empire. You want a big list, you want to be doing events, things like that, right? So your why is really important so that we can make sure that you are using the right strategies, because they're not all one size, it's not one size fits all. There's multiple ways to do this, multiple strategies to getting clients from someone else's event. We want to make sure that they're linking up to the business that you want and your why. Okay, ideal client versus target market, right? We talked about how that is a big difference. target market is a big overall umbrella, and then there's an ideal client that you want to work with. And when you're clear on an ideal client, it's much easier to look up and find really good golden events. So quick example, target market, business owners. Ideal client, example, health coach, business coach, life coach, right? That's being very specific. Those are all business owners, but someone that owns a fishing shop is also a business owner. That may not be your ideal client. It's certainly not mine. Then we talked about how to actually do the search. And I revealed this really, really cool way to search and find events. If you weren't on day one, grab a pen and paper. I'm going to tell you what it is right now. This is the most powerful way to find events. You guys ready? Okay. You got a pen? You're going to write it down? Okay. It's spelled G-O-O-G-L-E. Google. Yes, Google. Google is one of the best ways to search and find it, but it's how you're using Google. There's other ways to search and find events as well, but Google is a really powerful tool. You just have to know the keywords. And again, that goes back to ideal client. You want to make sure you're putting in the name of your ideal client, and then I talked about how to layer your search. So go back and listen to instructions on how to do that. Then we talked about how to qualify events. Okay, this is really important because this is why sponsors and speakers and attendees aren't leaving with clients, is because they're going and showing up in the wrong rooms. They're spending a bunch of money on sponsorships, they're spending a bunch of money on speaking, they're flying all over the place, all these travel costs, and they have very little or nothing to show for it because they're not qualifying it to make sure that it matches their business goals, that the strategies they want to use are a good fit for the event, or that it's even got their ideal clients in the room, right? I shared a story about how a client of mine, before we worked on this and showed them the process, they went to an event that sounded great. Their friends were telling them was a perfect fit for their business, but they show up and it's full of hippies. Nothing wrong with hippies, but their ideal client were serious business owners. These were people that were all about their life purpose and connecting to their higher power. Nothing wrong with that, but that's not who their ideal client was. So they wasted, I think, $10,000, somewhere like that, between sponsorship, hotel, flights for all of the team, food. It adds up, guys. So if you're not qualifying, you're going to end up wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. So this is really important. So to learn how to qualify, go back and listen to day one. I outlined that process on how to do that. Okay, that was day one. Okay, day two was how to position yourself super powerfully so you engage in great conversations that turn into clients. So during day two, yesterday, what we talked about was ultimately why business owners aren't really able to attract their ideal clients at events. So maybe you've done your due diligence, you know your ideal clients are at this event and it matches all your business goals. Check, 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 check. But you're still not able to get clients at someone else's event. Majority of the time, it's because your messaging is off. Okay, and I say this to my clients all the time. You might want to write this one down too. I remind myself of this all the time. Confused minds don't buy. Confused minds don't buy. So if you're showing up at an event and you're just spewing about what you do and there's no real clear outcome or value that you're portraying and how you can help people, they're going to be confused. Their eyes are going to glaze over. They're going to check out. They're going to look for someone to rescue them from the crazy person talking to them. So it's really important that you nail this and you're able to very clearly articulate the value that you provide and why they should buy from you. So that's where we started talking about what your superpower is, because you and I both have different gifts and unique abilities that our ideal clients need, AKA we have a superpower, right? That I have and that you have. So, excuse me, we need to be able to define what our superpower is, know what that is, and then from that point, then we can work into creating a value proposition statement around our superpower that reflects our superpower and lets our ideal clients know, hey, I'm your hero. I've got you, right? I've got the superpower. I can help you. So then we walked through a process on how to create your value proposition statement. And I really, really want to emphasize this. So even if you were there live on day 2, I want you to really pay attention and tune into this. So put away any distractions and really tune into this, because I didn't emphasize this enough yesterday. And so I want to make sure that I make this super, super clear today. With your value proposition, that is the most important, not the word for word elevator speech that you give. Right? I shared a little bit yesterday that the elevator speech is kind of a thorn in my side, and I hate that people teach that so much, because it's much more powerful to be able to clearly articulate the #1 problem that you solve and be able to have a conversation around that than to know the exact word for word sentence that magically describes what it is that you do. Right? I want to say that again. It's more important that you know the #1 problem that you solve and how to have a conversation around that than having the exact word for word sentence saying what you do, right? Because no one really cares. No one really cares what your elevator speech, elevator pitch is, right? They usually kind of tune it out anyways, and it's background noise. But if you can engage in a conversation, you can have powerful questions to ask people and hook their mind and get them to have a true conversation with you, then you're going somewhere. That's how you get clients from an event. You have to be able to very clearly articulate what your value proposition is. And once you nail your value proposition, it becomes so much easier to create all of the materials that you need when you're a sponsor, like your pull-up banner at your booth, any materials people take away, a talk that you give from stage, your infomercial, right? If you get a minute or 2 on stage, anything that has to do with your business should all stem from your value proposition. So those of you that did your homework, there were a couple of you that pretty much nailed your value proposition. Some were just need a little tweak. Some need a little more than a tweak, but that's okay. But once you nail and know what the #1 problem is that you solve, you're good. Congrats, you're off the hook, right? So if you're clear on stating that, you can build off of it and you can have a conversation with people. So I hope that's a load off, right, on your mind, because so many people, like for years, are just searching for the perfect way and the exact magical words that's going to unlock people's wallets, right? Because I have this perfect elevator speech, right? And that's not it. You have to know what's the #1 problem you solve and know how to have a conversation on it. Once you get that, like, it's a weight off of your shoulders. So no worries. If you haven't nailed that yet, you're okay. Okay? So today, that's day 2. Today, we're going to cover how to make big money from sponsorship and speaking. So what we're going to do today is we're going to look at different strategies of being a sponsor or speaker at someone else's event. And we're going to actually break down real examples, both from myself and from clients that have used these strategies and share the results that they got and why, right? So that's the best way to really learn it, is to get in it and see it and in a way feel it, right, for yourself and learn from someone else's experience. But before we get into that, I want to ask you guys a question. What if you could get a surge of clients and close 6 figures without having to do all the work of putting on your own event? Right? There's a lot of you that have said that they want to put on their own event in the future, and that's fantastic. I love events. That's what I've built my business around, is helping other people put on, 6-figure, events. And I love helping our clients do that, but it takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. There's hustle, there's upfront money to invest. So that's great if you want to host an event, but what if you could add 6 figures onto your income in 2020 without doing all of that work, right? Or if you do want to do an event in the future, when you can add on 6 figures in your cash flow from going to a few events, it's going to make it a lot easier to host your own event, because #1, you've got the money up front to invest, and #2, you've built up a list. You've built up a following of people that are now raving fans and want to know you and want to be a part of your experience. And when you've done it right, you've communicated your value proposition, they want to know what you're up to, right? So once you announce that you have an event, you got people that are going to register. Or you can actually use your sponsorship to fill your events. And I'll mention that a little bit later too in our strategies. So over the last 2 days, what was I just going to say? Yeah, so we talked about how to find the right events and how to position yourself with the last 2 days. But today I'm going to actually outline the path to creating those 5 to 6 figures that you can add on to your sales in 2020, or even use as a strategy in addition to making that money to filling events. So I'm going to show you how to get more clients, how to close sales, and then also how to scale your business without working yourself into the ground, right? So let me ask you, if you had consistent cash flow, right? Because at every event you attended, you walked away with a credit card in hand, paid, money in the bank, right? What would that be like for you? Because when you go to an event, people are already filtered. And this is important that you guys understand this and you get how important this strategy is and how it can help, because people are looking and doing things that are so complicated and take so much time. But when you go to an event, it's specific already, right? That's people that are going there for a specific topic and a specific purpose. And what I love from a sales perspective, I love sales psychology. So from a sales perspective, when someone goes to an event, they have an open mind. That's the best mind you want when you're going into a sales situation. If they're closed off, you're not going to get anywhere. But when people go to an event, they want to learn and they're looking for help to solve their problems. So it's the perfect opportunity for you to go to an event and leave with clients because they actually want your help, right? And it's also filtered. It's got your ideal clients at that event. And also, people paid to go to this event. They paid to travel. They're taking time off of their work or business. They paid an admission to go to it. So that tells you that they've got disposable income. So you can create consistent cash flow when you go to events, because this is such a concentrated and filtered event, right, and process. So, you know, if you're going from client payment to client payment, maybe you don't have a job anymore and you're not going from paycheck to paycheck, but you might be going from client payment to client payment. You know, when you have this consistent cash flow from going to events, now you have a surplus of money in the bank, right? Now you know where your next client is coming from. What would that be like for you, right? Yeah, Candy says that's pretty awesome feeling. It is an awesome feeling, right? It's great to know when I look at my calendar, I see an event in 3 weeks going, hey, I can go to the Coach store if I want and go get that purse I've been eyeing afterwards, right? Or I can go put a deposit down for that big snazzy video package I wanted to buy for my business, or whatever it is, right? I can look ahead because I know I've got consistent cash flow coming in and I've got a surge as well of cash flow coming in. Well, what if you also had more profits, not just sales, then you knew what to do with? Because what I love about this strategy is there's so much profit. Doing a bunch of Facebook ads or hosting an event or doing a huge launch for a program or a product, all of that stuff takes money. So yes, you'll make some money on the back end, but the profit isn't always as high. But this strategy, I'll take you through, when I show you some of the strategies, I'm going to share some of the profits from it as well and what people spent. So, you know, what would that be like for you? I want you to think about that. What would that be like for you if you're not only making more money, but you have more profit, right? You have more than you need. You have a surplus of money so you can buy anything you want and you can live any way that you want. You know, another big one for me, especially, you know, as I've shared, I just had a baby who's 4.5 months old, is your freedom. What if you had more freedom than you knew what to do with, right? Because you have peace of mind, you feel free from worry that you don't know where your next client is coming from, but you also feel free and have freedom because you can create a lifestyle where you can spend the time that you have as you want. You can spend your time as you want with who you want, right? So if you want to go and travel and take a vacation, you can do that and not have your business fall apart. And bonus, You can tack on an event when you travel, go pick up a client, and write off the event from your taxes because it's a business expense. So think about that. What would that feel like if you had more freedom than you knew what to do with? Pretty awesome. Pretty awesome, right? So why hasn't this happened? Why hasn't this happened yet? Well, you know, a lot of us have gone to events. Everybody has gone to events, right, in business, but maybe you just didn't know what to say. You didn't walk away with clients, and you didn't walk away with leads that turned into clients, you know, because you just didn't know what to say, right? You didn't know what to say. You didn't know how to close the leads. You didn't know how to set it up. You didn't know what strategies to make. But there really is a better way. And I promise today that we're going to show you exactly how to walk away with a credit card in hand from someone else's event. We're going to show you exactly how to do that. So a lot of people know me and my business partner, Erin, as the A-Team, right? Our company is A-Team Event Company, like the old show or the movie A-Team. And people often credit me with showing them how to be more clever and strategic in their business by using events to, in some way, shape, or form, to close 6 figures, 5 or 6 figures. But it didn't all start out that way. I remember when a hotel manager wouldn't let me in the door of my own hotel room because there wasn't enough money on my credit card. I was stuck sitting in the lobby while my husband was on the phone with his mom asking if he could borrow a couple $100 to cover us. And I was at a business event, a business training, and I'm watching all these other business owners that I know check in with smiles on their faces, getting the keys to their room. And I'm sitting there in the chair looking at them, and I'm seething. I'm seething because I'm so angry at myself, and I'm seething with embarrassment. They probably had no clue why I was just sitting there, right? But I still was embarrassed. And I was embarrassed and I was upset because I knew how to make money. For years, I had been helping clients host 6-figure events, showing them how to go as a sponsor, speaker, attendee, and get clients. So what the heck was my problem? You know, so I'm sitting there years ago, and I sat there and I told myself, okay, it's time to be brutally honest. I need to be honest with myself, what is going on here if I'm going to fix this. And I had a big aha moment. I had a big aha moment that I was letting some negative beliefs get in the way. I was letting new and shiny tactics get in the way, like podcasts, Facebook ads, building out funnels, instead of doing the simple thing I knew worked. Go to where the leads are and close them. Simple, right? And I also wasn't being consistent in my efforts. And so I'm thinking about this and had this big aha on those 3 things that I'm not doing. And sitting in that chair in the lobby, I decided enough was enough. That very weekend, I decided I'm going to work the process that I know works. And even though I was just an attendee at that event, I closed $15,000 in sales at that event. Contract signed, deposit process, credit card in, right? I paid Erin's mom back, right? But when I got home, I kept the momentum going. I didn't stop there. I continued working the process that I spent all those years outlining with my clients, and I started working it. I found a sponsorship in 2 months. I purchased it, and at that event, I closed $100,000 at the event, right? And then because of my consistent follow-up since then, I'm still getting sales. I just got a sale from someone I met at that event a week ago. So now every single event I attend, I walk away with clients, right? Probably an average of 2 to 3, maybe, I don't know, 2.3. We'll split the difference somewhat. Every event I go to, I walk away with clients, and then I continue to get even more from follow-up every single time because it's a process. So if you can relate in any way to my story, and you feel like you've been stuck in that feast or famine where you've got some good months and then you've got some really lean months, or you just don't have that consistent cash flow in your business, and you just haven't been closing clients at someone else's event or even through follow-up, and you just don't know why, I gotta tell you, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. I have a bone to pick with our industry. I really do. There's a lot of business owners out there hearing from gurus and coaches and telling them, you need to do this tactic or you need to try this technique, right? Usually it's because they've got a program that sells it. Let's just be honest. But also, can you tell I'm getting a little heated? But also, they're telling you that the fortune is in the follow-up or that sponsorship is the long game. If someone is telling you that and it's their event, that might be a red flag. I'm just saying. But they're telling people fortune is in the follow-up and sponsorship is the long game. They're dead wrong. They're dead wrong. I'm living proof. My clients are living proof. They're dead wrong. There's some truth. I will give them some credit. There's some truth to that. Yes, you will continue to make sales. I just shared that, right? That at that event, I closed $100,000 there in the hotel lobby, but then I also have closed additional sales from follow-up because I've been consistent in my marketing and following up with my efforts after that. But to say that you can only get sales from sponsorship after the event is dead wrong. So if you haven't done it yet and you've been hearing those things, it's not your fault. You just need to know the right process and you need to know how to do it. You just need to change your thinking, right? So I see some of you in the chat saying, right, yeah, that's me. Wow, yes, absolutely. I totally get it, been there. You know, and then another reason this isn't happening is because we're bogged down from all those tactics and techniques that we're hearing from people. And there's so many different ways to get clients now that you hear about that it's like, should I go do a podcast now? Or should I start doing guest interviews on podcasts? Should I start doing a monthly webinar? Should I do Facebook ads? Should I be doing videos? Should I be doing, like, there's so much stuff to do that it's so easy to get distracted and bogged down in all of this stuff, right? So, and I want to be clear, I'm not saying that those tactics or techniques are wrong and you should never do them. It's about timing. So what we're talking about here is creating consistent cash flow in your business. So if you don't have consistent cash flow in your business and you're not constantly filling your pipeline with leads and sales, then it's not time to be doing those things. That is okay, let me get this situated first, right? Let me focus on my sales because that's the real solution. Let me focus on my sales and my strategy first. And then now I've got the money to reinvest in my business from that without making myself or my house pay for it, right? So, you know, that's how I got myself in that pickle. I took money from my house to pay for my business, and now I didn't have enough money in the bank to even cover a hotel, right? It's when we do things backwards, that's what happens. So I just want you to look at, we're gonna jump into the content, I swear, in just a second, but I just want you to really look at, because this is so important, how you're spending your time and how you're spending your money. Because if you don't have that consistent stream of cash flow yet, then you're probably wasting time in some things that you shouldn't be doing in your business just yet. Right? It's so much easier to just walk into an event and leave with clients in a weekend. I promise you, it's so much easier. And the peace of mind and the freedom that comes with having consistent cash flow is unlike anything else, right? You start to enjoy having a business instead of thinking maybe I should get a job. So once I took that step back, eliminated those side projects or side hustles and strategically used my time, that's when I started getting a good return on my investment in my own business, right? As I focused on going where my clients were already gathered, I positioned myself as an expert, you know, and I closed sales from consistently following up. And just one more thing to add to that, what's really surprised me that I just thought of this today is about this time last year, I found out I was pregnant. Surprise! that wasn't the surprise. It was a surprise, but that's not the surprise I'm talking about. What surprised me is that I knew I was going to have to scale back in my business and not take on a lot of clients in the fall of 2019, because that's when I was due. I was due in September. I could have panicked because that's our busiest time of year. The fall is event season. So that's when we make the bulk of our revenue. But we had a lot of leads from sponsorships we've done over the past years. And since I had that moment in the hotel lobby, right, where I was honest with myself and kept that momentum going, I've been able to keep my business going, even though I maybe did a third of the events and took on a third of the clients we normally take on in the fall. So working this strategy is what helped me to breathe and take a few months off and have a baby and not have my business fall completely apart. So that's what I'm going to show you now, is the strategies that I did to set myself up in that way and that our clients have done that's allowed me to walk away with sales close from events. Okay, so I hope you guys got some insights and some ahas, and maybe it helped you look a little bit at your mindset and what you're doing in your business so that you can work a little bit smarter. Okay, so let's talk about the different strategies that you can use to get clients from events. So what I'm actually going to refer to this as is different ways to participate in events. There's 3 primary ways to participate in events. Just a second. The problem that I see with business owners and why they're not making big money from sponsorship and speaking is because they don't know how to figure out what is going to be the best way to participate at someone's event. So I'm gonna state that again. I wanna make sure you guys are clear on what I'm saying. The reason they're not making big money from sponsorship and speaking is they don't know how to figure out what is the best way for them to participate in someone else's event. Maybe they should be a sponsor, maybe they should be a speaker, or maybe it's better for them to just be an attendee. But they're not really sure how to determine that. So in order to do that, you first need to be very clear on what those 3 ways are to participate. And I'm going to break down a little bit on how to know when is the best strategy to use in your business and what are some signs. So what I'm going to do to help make this clear is I'm actually going to share my screen with you and share just a few slides that I've prepared for you guys to help you visually understand this. Just give me a moment here. I'm going to pull that up. Okay, there we go. Alrighty. Looks like everyone's still there. Good. Okay, so there are 3 main ways to participate in other people's events. 3 ways to participate in someone else's event and find clients. So the first way is as an attending people's events. So what do I mean by this? What I mean by this is that you're purchasing a ticket to a full 1-day or a 2-day or a 3-day conference or event. Personally, I feel the most effective way to do this is a 3-day event, but you can certainly get clients from attending a 1-day, a 2-day, or a 3-day event. So I'm going to get into attending more in a second. So attending, speaking, and sponsorship. So with attending, again, it's you're purchasing a ticket to go to a full 1-day, 2-day, or 3-day event. So when is this the best strategy for you to use? Well, when you want to master the strategy of picking up clients from events, this is the way to do it. Attending other people's events is kind of like networking, but not, because a lot of people hate networking. This is, you're learning something, number 1, you're experiencing something with other people, but number 3, you're also learning how to do sales and pick up clients from attending the event. So it is kind of like networking, but it's networking on steroids, I like to say, right? It's kind of a marathon or on steroids, right? It's at a higher pace, and you're going to get better results than just like an hour networking event, because you get to experience things with each other and have more opportunities to connect on a real personal level than just like, surface level. Attending someone's event to get clients is another good idea to use in your business if you have a small budget to get started with. So you may already have certain skill sets in place, but you just don't have the budget right now to be speaking at someone's event. or to sponsor someone's event. So if you need to get some capital and get some cash flow coming in first, attending other people's events is going to cost a lot less. You could even start locally. You can go within a driving radius, or go to a one-day event so you don't have to pay for a hotel room overnight. I certainly have done that before in the past when I was just getting this up and going, right? I looked at what were events that were going on right in my city, or I live in a city in upstate New York, but I'm not very far from New York City. I'm not very far from Toronto. So I went to events that were within a driving radius. I didn't have to pay for a hotel. I drove. And the tickets to the event were maybe $100 or a couple $100 or even some $50, something like that. So when you have a small budget, this is a great way to kind of dip your toe in the water, start mastering the skill set of closing events at clients, and not have a bunch of money that you're putting in up front at the event. This is also a great strategy to use when you generate your list of events that you want to go to, and you go through the qualification process, but there's an event that looks really, really good, but you're just not 100% sure if this is the event for you or not, but you think that it might be something you want to do next year. That's a great way to go and check it out. So let's say there's a sponsorship that's $10,000 and you're like, well, this event looks good, but I'm not really sure about this, or I'm not 100% sure how much of my target market or my ideal client is there. Go and attend the event and check it out first. I've done that before and I'm really glad that I did. I picked up a client from that event, of course, but I decided, no, this isn't the best one for me to sponsor because it's somewhat in competition with the host from what they taught, and also it just wasn't full of my ideal clients that I wanted to work with. So it's another great way to check out the event if you're unsure. So if you really want to pick up the pace though, and you really want to walk away with clients sold and super hot leads where you're positioned as an expert, the name of the game is speaking and sponsorship. That is going to be the best way for you to really close high sales. And if you're trying to grow the empire, or you want to put on your own event in the future, right? You just want to operate and play at a higher level. Speaking and sponsorship is the name of the game. So I'm going to give you a high level view of speaking and sponsorship strategies during this training today, but I also go in detail with this when I work with my clients on exactly how to do it and how to tweak it based on your business and your goals. So speaking. Okay, so speaking, this is a good idea for you to do if you've mastered picking up clients at an event. So if you already know how to go to an event and close a sale, either at the event or just after that week, then this is a way to participate that you should consider in your business. So speaking nowadays, it's very rare for you to get paid to speak. Unless you're a big name or you have a huge following, it's very rare that you get paid to speak. It's usually you pay to play. That's what they say in the industry, if you're unfamiliar with that. You pay to get on someone else's stage. They did all the time. They did all the work to gather all of the people together. They paid the cost for it. So in exchange for you getting in front of their room, you pay some sort of a fee and make an investment into speaking on their stage. That's pay to play. You only want to be doing pay to play when you know how many people you can convert from the stage into a client. So, or what we call a conversion rate. You want to know how many people, when I'm in front of 100 people, do I get 30 to buy? That means I have a 30% conversion rate. Or do I get 20 people to buy? That's a 20% conversion rate. You have to know those numbers in order to really do your due diligence and say, okay, it's worth it to pay for the speaking slot because I know I'm going to make X amount above what I just invested. Speaking is another great way to participate at someone's event if you want to close sales from the stage. If you want to fill an event, this is an excellent way to fill an event. Or also if you need some new blood on your list, right? You need some new people in your list, or you want to grow your list. Speaking on someone else's stage is a great way to get an influx of new clients and contacts on your list. Sponsorship. Sponsorship is the third way to participate at someone else's event. And what I mean by sponsorship is you have a booth or table, right? Whichever it is, a booth or a table that is showcasing your services or your products. So sponsorships can include all sorts of things, and I'll give some examples later. But sponsorships can include all sorts of things in addition to a booth or table, but I would never, ever do a sponsorship unless it has a booth or a table where I can set up a display about my business and my products or my services. You would never just want to buy, you know, I'm going to pay to be for appetizers or for coffee, or I'm going to pay for my logo to be up on the screen at the event, or on the bag that the attendees get, or on the website. Those are a nice add-on. If it comes with it, great, right? If it comes with you getting a booth or table, but you would never just purchase those things on their own. So sponsorship is a great strategy and a way to participate at someone's event. Again, only if you've mastered the strategy of picking up clients from someone else's event. This is another bone I have to pick with the industry, is people will try and sell you a sponsorship and you haven't even mastered being able to close clients. You're still working on your sales. So if you haven't mastered closing your sales, and that person on the other end of the phone knows that, they shouldn't be selling you a sponsorship. Because that's where I see a lot of people get in trouble, is they're still struggling to sell and get clients, and they're paying for a sponsorship that's $2,000, $3,000. It makes no sense. So master that strategy first. Sponsorship, I'm going fast. I'm sorry, guys, if you have questions. Again, it'll be recorded if you need to go back, but I'm going fast because I want to get all this content. Sponsorship is also a great way to fill an event. You can do a whole booth all around your event. It's a great way to fill your event and get leads for your event. It's also a great way just to get leads and new contacts on your list in general. Sponsorship is a great idea if there's a high percentage of your ideal client in the room. You can get away with a smaller percentage when you're speaking because you get to speak directly to just those people sitting in the audience. But with sponsorship, you want a high percentage of your ideal client in the audience and in the room. Just a little side tip with sponsorship, you want to start with something low cost and maybe a local event if you've never done sponsorship before, because, well, for obvious reasons, right? You don't want to practice and have a big sponsorship be your guinea pig to test it out. So once you know that you can convert into clients, then it's time to start looking at some of the large sponsorships and the bigger investments. So, okay, great. Now that we're clear on what are the 3 primary ways to participate at someone's conference or event to get clients, now what I want to do is, let me make sure I'm not skipping something important, sorry. Is I want to demonstrate a couple examples of how to use these strategies to get clients and how to make big money, specifically from speaking or sponsoring at someone's event. So here's a picture of our booth at one sponsorship event that we did. So I'm going to start out by using myself as an example. We'll go through some of my clients' examples in a minute. But here's a quick example of an event that we sponsored. So it was a bigger setup. We paid for a larger sponsorship, so we got a little bit more room to play with. But this was a 3-day event that was built for business owners that wanted to learn more about marketing and get better at marketing their business to get clients. So this was perfect. It was full of our ideal clients. The sponsorship was $3,000, and it included an exhibitor table, and it included 3 minutes on stage to do an infomercial about what we did, an ad in the workbook that all the attendees got, and also included our logo on all of their collateral, all of the bags, the handouts, the website, everything, right? Our little A-Team logo was there. So our strategy at this event was to make the most out of those 3 minutes on stage and to drive people to our booth that wanted to start doing events. So what we did was, when we were on stage during our 3 minutes, we educated them a little bit, we inspired them about what was possible for them, but then the offer we made from stage was basically we said that, you know, putting on your own event, you don't have to wait till you have thousands of people on your list to do it. You can start by hosting a small event with 10, even 30 people in the room and close 6 figures. And we talked about how we've helped our clients do that. And so we told them, there's a way to figure out if you're ready to do an event and how much money you can make. And so we told them to take the event profit quiz, right? You can see that actually on our banner there on the left side, the event profit quiz. So we told them where to go to take the event profit quiz, and that in order to get the results, they had to come to our booth and come see us. And when they came and saw us at the booth, we'd be able to do a quick snapshot of their business and tell them how much money they could make from their event based on where they currently are in their business without adding a single another contact to their list. So this worked. It was gangbusters, right? We got a ton of people. There were hundreds of people at this event. We got a ton of people that opted into our list. And then we got a bunch of people that came to our booth to see the results of their event profit quiz. So what we did is we had a process that our team was aware of where we would identify who were the hot leads. We already knew roughly because they came to see us. We already knew they were a hot lead and wanted to do an event because they came to us. But by looking at their results from their quiz, we knew who really are the people that we can put on an event for and help them make money. So we had these criteria in mind. And so the people that were our best, hottest leads that we knew we could start working with right then and there, we set up consultations there at the event. So during the breaks, during the lunch, during the dinner, during breakfast, right? You're on when you're doing a sponsorship. You eat when people are in session, right? So I had my team book me consultations with our hottest prospects there at that event. As a result, from doing that, I closed 2 clients at that event, both a $50,000 package. Each person was a $50,000 package. So at this event, I closed 2 people into a $50,000 package. And then the month after the event, I believe it was about a month after the event, I closed a third $50,000 client. I also closed a few other smaller clients here or there, or programs and things like that. But this sponsorship that cost me $3,000, right? Then we flew from New York to LA where the event was. So we had our travel costs, hotel, flight, food, all of that. Maybe the total investment for this event was about maybe $5,500, tops $6,000. With everything all said and done, but I made $100,000 at the event in sales. I closed $100,000 at the event. So, I mean, that's pretty easy math. $100,000 minus $5,500, that's pretty high profit, right? From doing a sponsorship. So now there's tips and tricks and little subtle things that you have to do it right to make that happen. But the point is, that it's definitely doable. This is something that you guys can do. Are you guys beginning to see how it's possible as I'm sharing some of these strategies and kind of peeling back the curtain a little bit of how this is done, right? Are you starting to see this? It's exciting, right? It's exciting when you start to see that this is totally possible for you. So now I want to share an example of a client. So, well, actually, okay, so these are pictures of me of just showing you that we do this strategy over and over again. This is me speaking at an event where we also closed and got clients. This is me and my husband, Aaron, another different booth setup at another event. So this is a strategy that we continue to rinse and repeat so that we get consistent sales. I'm pregnant in this picture, if you can't tell. This was a few months back. I think I was like 6 or 7 months pregnant. Okay, anyway, so here is an example of me with clients. This is going back a few years. If you can't tell from my face, I'm a little younger in this picture. So at this event, I am with a client. I actually went with them to the event and helped them learn how to get clients at their event and help them close sales there. So when I was working with them, these were some of my clients earlier on that I've also continued to work with throughout the years. But when I was working with them, this is where we outlined and how I outlined the process of how to go to events as a sponsor, a speaker, or attendee and leave with clients sold, right? So we created the systematic process of, first of all, how to qualify the events, because originally they were going to the wrong places and were wasting a lot of money. So the good thing for you guys is that you guys have actually learned almost, I'd say probably 70% of that process, that beginning thing that I taught them how to do that was costing them thousands of dollars, was them not knowing how to find the right events or qualify them. You guys have learned almost 70% of that process. That's actually module 1 in the Cash from Conferences training program. And you guys have pretty much completed that whole module just from day 1 and day 2 of the bootcamp. So congrats, you guys have pretty much completed that. I mean, there's some more details and some more ways to qualify and figure out what's good for your business and budget and more worksheets and resources and things, but you guys have got the bulk of it down now, so congratulations. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit more how you can keep learning this strategy with me in the Cash from Conferences training program in a little bit, but right now I wanna stick to showing you some examples of strategies our clients have used so you can learn how you can start doing that right now too. So, Chris, okay, we're gonna use the example of Chris Kenny. So he had a sponsorship booth at a 4-day conference. This was for women business owners. That was his ideal client, specifically coaches and consultants. And he didn't have any time on stage. He wasn't a speaker. It was just a simple booth. And he worked the booth. He worked the process of knowing how to have a team member there at the booth with him, have a calendar there to book consults there on site. We taught and we worked up the verbiage on exactly what to say to motivate people to sit down and have a conversation there instead of just saying, oh, let's just get on the phone after the event. Right? So we figured out what were the keywords and how are we going to have a conversation with people to engage them and get them motivated and excited to talk now, right? So by the end of that 4-day event, as you can see, it was a $100,000 conference for him. This conference, he closed, I want to look at my notes here to make sure I get this right. He closed 2 clients at $25,000 and 1 client at $50,000. So he's a business coach and specifically around sales. So he had a high ticket offer, and I teach in the program, Cash from Conferences, how to craft a high ticket offer, even if you just have a product that you offer, how you can add on a service as well that you can charge more for. It doesn't have to be $25,000, but in his case, it was. He had a $25,000 offer, $50,000 offer, and a $10,000 offer. So he sold 2 25K clients and he sold one 50K client. So the grand total at the event was $100,000. And these were not just like in concept sold. This was credit card swiped, deposit in, agreement signed, I'm in, right? Because sometimes, you know, some people have tried to sell things and then it just falls apart in the end. But he closed it, agreements in, everything. So. But this was just from a booth. This is what I want you guys to get, that even with just a booth, you can get people motivated to have a consult with you right then and there at the event and close the deal there. Okay, this is Nancy. This is Nancy Roberts. She's speaking at a 1-day conference. So I've talked about how you could do a 1-day, 2-day, or 3-day. So speaking is a great way to get clients from events, specifically if it's a 1-day, because you have more time in front of your leads. So this is where at this 1-day conference, she spoke, she gave away some free gifts, and she drove people to go to her booth and have a continuing conversation with her. And she booked consults for the following weeks after this sponsorship or speaking opportunity, but she also met up with a client after this day-long event for dinner, and she closed a $10,000 client. So I'm going to talk about in a minute a strategy called piggyback events, but I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait to the next example to get into that. But basically, from speaking at a one-day conference, she was able to close a $10,000 client right after the event, and then from the sales consults that she had booked the week after the event, total she closed another $50,000 after the event from new clients. So I'm not sure to this date how much she sold as a result of this entire event, but I know initially, because she was so excited, that she closed 10K there, and then she closed another 50K right after the event. So I want you to see like that this is possible for you guys. And even if you just have an hour on stage at a one-day event, you can still close clients. So yes, 3 days is great, and you can create more connection, but this is totally doable with a one-day event. And I think the people, I think it's maybe 70 people, 80 people in the room at this event. So it doesn't need to be a huge, massive room either. You just need to be in the right room and have a clear value proposition. And also know how to work the strategy. That helps too. And so here's a testimonial from Nancy. This was an event later on that she was doing. We had a great opportunity at an event where our ideal clients were gathering. We knew there had to be a way to capitalize in it, so we called the A team. In less than a week, they helped us put together an event. So this is what I was referring to as a piggyback event. Now, this is a high-level strategy that you use when you're a sponsor at an event. So a piggyback event, there's 3 different types of piggyback events. We're just going to talk about one right now because we don't have time to get into all of them. One way to do a piggyback event is when you have a sponsorship, you put together a small event for people to come to hear you speak more on a certain topic, or hear you speak in general on a certain topic. So in this instance, they were in a room that was full of their ideal clients. There were hundreds of them there. So she came to me and we wanted to brainstorm on what is going to be the best way to capitalize on this opportunity. So what we did was we said, let's do a piggyback event. So what we did was we booked a small room at the hotel where the event was. We advertised it as after the event, like an after party. We had drinks, we had hors d'oeuvres, and then we told them there was going to be a bonus training where Nancy was going to speak on how to charge what you're worth. That wasn't the title, it was a little sexier than that. But basically the essence was how to charge what you're worth as a coach. And we got 20 people to come to this, and just during that 2 hours, there was about, half hour or so of networking, and then she spoke for about an hour, hour and a half. And from that piggyback event, she sold over $50,000 in sales from that piggyback event, right? So that was closed there at the event. Client signed, contract in, credit card swiped. So very kind. She said, thank goodness I call them. They're the best at looking at possibilities and turning them into profitable realities. So what I want to emphasize with this example is sometimes there's an event that comes up and there's so many different ways to position yourself as the expert and create opportunities. And a lot of opportunities get missed because business owners just don't know how to creatively look outside of the box and see what possibilities are there, or they do too much. They do too much with their sponsorship and they end up confusing people. And again, confused minds don't buy. So you need someone that can kind of see the forest, right? Because as a business owner, you can't see the forest through the trees. So you need someone with that outside perspective to really see the whole scope and what's going to be your best opportunity. So that's why we were working together, was that she needed someone to just kind of brainstorm with her on, I've got this great opportunity, I found this event, how do we make the most from it? So that's, again, I talk about there's 3 different ways to participate at an event. How are you going to participate at the event is the first question: attendee, sponsor, or speaker. But then within each of those 3 ways to participate, there are strategies that you can capitalize on. So as a speaker, what are the unique ways you're going to get people to sign to be a client as a speaker? As a sponsor, what are the unique ways and strategies you're going to use to get people to sign on to be a client? There's many different strategies that you use or could potentially use as a sponsor or a speaker. And you might not use one strategy you would use as a sponsor that you would use as a speaker, right? So they're different. It's not one size fits all, but there is one strategy that you always use, whether you're an attendee, sponsor, or speaker, for sure. Let's see. So that is why I compiled the Cash from Conferences training program, honestly, is because a lot of business owners, they just don't know how to see the forest through the trees. They don't know how to really see the opportunities that are there in front of them. And as a result, they're missing out on thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that they could be adding into their business every single year. Plus, they're wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. I know I've drilled this and hammered this, but it's so important that you get this because it's what so many business owners are stuck in. They're spending so much time in all these tactics out there and these shiny objects when the simple, easy thing to do is go where your leads are and close them. So that's why I designed the Cash from Conferences training program, is because people need to understand that there is a proven process and a system of how to do this. And it doesn't need to take years to build a 6 or even 7-figure business. This is something that you can quickly do when you have the right strategy and process in place. So the Cash from Conferences training program is designed to teach you just that, is what is the process and strategies that you need to take to be a sponsor, a speaker, or just go as an attendee and work the room. So the Cash from Conferences training program is a 90-day online virtual program. Now, this comes with support from me directly, because another bone to pick with the industry is there's a lot of products and programs out there that become shelf help, right? You know what I mean when I say shelf help? You get really excited about it. You buy, I'm gonna buy this, Facebook ad convert kit thing, and then, you get excited about it, and then it ends up staying on your shelf, or it ends up staying buried in your hard drive, right? So it becomes shelf help that you purchase, and you never do anything with it. So I didn't want this program to be that. I wanted it to have built-in accountability. So I do work this out in video modules that you learn from, and worksheets and spreadsheets and things like that go with it to help you learn this strategy thoroughly in and out. But I included support with me directly because I knew that there were going to be questions that would come up for you, and I didn't want this to turn into shelf help. So there is one-on-one support for me included in this. There's 10 training modules, which I'll explain a little bit on what they cover in just a moment. And there's also very easy to use and fill out workbooks, templates, and spreadsheets. My business partner and husband, Aaron, is obsessed with spreadsheets. He loves spreadsheets. So there are ways to organize all of the data, organize what is the budget for your events. There's spreadsheets to put your list of conferences and events that you pull up and you generate when you're searching for conferences. There's a spreadsheet you put all of your information in so that you can very clearly see side by side, here's the cost for this one, here's the opportunity for this one, and then at the end you can look at it and you can see, okay, clearly this one's the winner. Or this one I'm not sure about, maybe I want to go as an attendee and get my toe in the water and check it out. So there's great spreadsheets that are easy and simple and quick to use that help you in that process. So go Aaron for creating that, because not my gift, not my superpower, that's his. It also includes 2 laser support calls one-on-one with me. So these are for you to schedule whenever you need them. You may need more help with your booth, or you may have a specific opportunity coming up or something like that, but you get 2 calls with me one-on-one private time where we cash through whatever it is you need some support on. But the other thing I love, and my team fought me a little bit on, but I said, no, I want to include this in the program, is lifetime lifetime access to the monthly Q&A call. So every month we have a live call where you can jump in and you can ask your questions about anything in the program or about a specific opportunity that's coming up with an event, and you just want to hash out and brainstorm the best way to capitalize on the opportunity. So you can just jump in on the monthly Q&A call and I will give you the answers and help you work through it. You get lifetime access to this. So as long as this program is around, you get access to this Q&A call. Even though it's a 90-day program, that just means you can get through all the content in 90 days. It doesn't mean that once the 90 days are up, you're done. So as long as this program is around, you can jump in. It doesn't matter if it's 2 years from now. You can jump into the Q&A call and say, I've got this speaking opportunity coming up. I have a quick question about this, right? So I wanted you guys to have that because, again, this is an ongoing tool and strategy that you use. You should be doing a sponsorship or using an event at least once per quarter. Once per quarter, you want to be doing this strategy in order to really be filling your pipeline and getting the sales that you want. So once per quarter, there could be an opportunity coming up where you're just not sure, or maybe you want to weigh out, should I do this one or should I do this one? And my budget is $2,000 and I don't know which one to invest in it, right? Or my budget is only $200, which one is going to make me the most money? So those Q&A calls are great, and they are recorded so you can listen to them. If you miss it, you can also submit a question in advance and I will answer it on the Q&A call, and then you can listen to the recording. So our friends that are overseas, don't worry if you can't make the call live, it's fine. Just email me your question and I will answer it for you live on the Q&A call, and then you can listen to the recording. Another great thing that I'm including in this program that get people really excited is, how do you set up a booth, right? So if you've gone to conferences and events, sometimes you'll see a booth where you're like, oh my gosh, it looks like their 10-year-old built this booth. Like, what were they thinking? You know, so we don't want that. We want to support you in creating a booth where people walk by and they're like, wow, they got their stuff together. They know what they're doing. You know, we want them to be impressed. We want you to be positioned as an expert in your industry. So we help you with how do you set up a booth that's going to stop traffic and make them curious and make them want to actually talk to you, not like kind of, you know, walk like this through the expo and like not make eye contact with you. We want them to engage with you. So we actually review your booth and how you're going to set up your booth and display your products or your services. So that to me is really, really key. And that alone is totally worth the investment for this program, because people butcher their booths. Whew, man. I've got some before and after pictures in the program that I show, and I also show some best and worst practices. I literally have a picture of someone at a booth sleeping. They are sleeping at their booth. Don't do that. But anyway, so I go through and I teach for the best practices, but I also will personally review your booth for you and give you some feedback on the design and your setup. I don't do any of the design work, but I do give you some feedback on the setup and display of your booth itself. Okay, so I'm going to talk about a little bit about what the modules cover. So there's 10 training modules. So I want to make sure that you guys are clear on what the training modules include and what they cover. So we cover searching and qualifying conferences and events. You guys learned a lot about that over the past 2 days, but there's still some nuances and really important key things that just because of sake of time, I'm just not able to get into. So the very beginning of it is we get crystal clear on your ideal client. So if you're not 100% sure on who your ideal client is, or you have several ideal clients and you're not sure which group to focus on first, we tackle that in the Cash from Conferences training program. We also help you to start thinking like your ideal client and find out where they're gathering. We help you figure out how to find the best events for your business. So yes, Google is great. Like I talked about, I joked about that earlier, but there's also calendars that actually compile business events. and other places that you can look as well. There's ways to use Facebook and LinkedIn and social media to find events as well. So we talk about all the new ways to find events that no one else knows about. So it's great because your competition might not know about it yet. So great for you. We also cover what your value proposition statement is. You guys know from now, I don't need to reiterate why that is so critical and important. But I also know that there's a lot of you that are still struggling with it and need some help and some clarity on it. Or even if you've nailed the statement, you know what the number one problem is that you solve, you still don't know how to have a conversation around it without being glued to the I have to say an elevator speech like a robot, right? So we teach you how to have an actual conversation with people and have fun with people and engage with them around your value proposition statement and what that statement is. This is really important because people have gotten in trouble spending way too much money on a sponsorship when they weren't ready. So how do you objectively set a budget and weigh out the risks and the rewards of an opportunity so that you can make the best decision on which conferences and events you should go after now and which ones you want to table and you want to look at later? That's really important. And then what strategies to use. We talked about that tonight on what strategies to use in your business. And when you're sponsoring, speaking, or attending, there's a mix of different strategies to use. And it's important to know which one you're going to use at an event, because you don't want to do too much and confuse people. And you also don't want to miss out on opportunities. So should you be doing piggyback events? Should you be doing a free offer gift from the stage? Should you do some sort of a virtual take this quiz thing? Should you try and book sales calls right then and there, or should you be doing them the following week? So we look at what are the strategies that you need to be doing that's going to help you get the best bang for your buck and get you the most clients and sales at the event. Okay. Then we also, you guys know the 7 questions, but there's actually a couple more just for time we couldn't get into. The top 10 questions you have to ask when you're qualifying conferences. We also, like I told you, Aaron and his lovely spreadsheets, we've got those for you on how to notate the events that you get and compare them. We'll show you our process that we do for ourselves when we pick these events. And then we also share you our secret list of conferences and events. You're going to get a gift today just as a loving freebie for you guys on some conferences and events, but I share with you guys the ones that we look at doing every single year as well. Those are not listed in that free gift I'm going to give you guys today. Okay, then that was all basically module 1, getting clear on your ideal client, module 2 on how to get people to be intrigued with what you have to say, number 3. Number 3 is actually not on here, but I think this is important to mention. Module number 3 is about overcoming the fear of putting yourself out there. So I talked about the limiting beliefs that I had. A lot of us struggle with that as business owners, especially when it comes to sales. We don't want to get rejected. We don't feel worthy. We're not sure why someone would buy from us. So putting ourselves out there can be scary sometimes. So module number 3 is all about how do you overcome that fear? How do you work through it? And how do you become confident in a situation like this, being at someone else's event, so that you can close clients at the event? Really, really important. Module 4 is also on this category about qualifying events. Then module 5 is when we start getting into the details of the strategies. So speaking at conferences. I'm going to just go through this a little bit. Shock and awe boxes. I'm not going to go into detail about shock and awe boxes just for the sake of time right now. But a shock and awe box is basically a way to stand out from the other speakers. So when you apply to be a speaker at a conference or event, there's a bunch of other speakers that are also trying to get that same slot. It's not always whoever hands over a credit card gets it. So you want to have a way to stand out. So a shock and awe box is a package that we teach you how to put together about you as a speaker that you send to the person that selects the speakers. And it's a really cool box of goodies about your speaker sizzle reel, your talk, and just But this box, when we send this to event planners and when we send this to the people that select speakers, the responses we get back is so cool. Like they get so excited. It's kind of like Christmas for them, like they're opening up a gift. So Shock and Awe boxes has helped us get into some really competitive conferences and slots. So you'll learn more about that when you join Cash from Conferences. We also, speaking about Shock and Awe boxes, how to find the address of the decision maker. That's not always easy to do. I talked about pay to play earlier. So sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes you definitely shouldn't pay to speak at an event, and it's better for you to just find some free speaking gigs. So you need to be able to figure out when you should and when you shouldn't. How to create a talk title that impels people to attend your talk. So just because you get the speaking gig doesn't mean you're going to be in front of the whole audience. You might be a breakout, and there may be other competing breakout sessions. So how do you create a title that makes your ideal client, that's who we want, your ideal client to pick your breakout session over someone else's? To cover that. How to keep them engaged while you're speaking, so you get rave reviews, you get asked back. Here's a big one. How do you sell when you're not supposed to sell? Sometimes you get a speaking gig and they say you can't make an offer from the stage. Okay, fine. We've got you covered. There are definitely ways that you can drive people to your booth and that you can sell to them without selling from the stage, because you want to be respectful of the event host. Now, when you're on stage, we also go through and teach what is the way to structure your content when you're speaking naturally in a way that leads to the sale or your free gift offer. So if you can make an offer from the stage, we show you how to lead your content up to that. Or if you're going to make a free offer, we show you how to lead your content up to it so that by the time you make your offer, you get people like clamoring to get it. So I think yesterday I shared the example of when I was on stage and I made a free gift offer, and there were 100 people in the room, and I got 98% of them to opt in. 98 people out of 100 opted in to my list. This is how I built up to the free offer. So I'm going to teach you that. Then the number one thing you have to do before you transition to that sale, I also teach you. So that's module number 5. Module number 6, we talk about sponsorship. So we go in depth with all the different strategies that you can use when you're a sponsor at a conference. Like doing your infomercial. If you have a minute or a few minutes on stage as part of your sponsorship, how do you do a really killer one that's going to drive people to come and talk to you and have a conversation at your booth? We also review your products and services so that when you go to us and do a sponsorship, there may be a certain time of the year where you want to focus on this product or service, and then maybe in another time of the year you want to focus on this product or service. So it's based on your business goals and a few other things, but we look at your product and services, and when you're mapping out your strategy for this, we look at it and we help you determine what is going to be the most effective at you getting clients from the event by what product you're going to showcase. Again, we give you feedback on your booth. I just told you about that. But we also do extensive training on how to set up your booth, and then also how to have a conversation with people at your booth. That's really key as well. How do you break the ice with people? Oh, bad booth placement. Oh gosh, it happens. It happens to the best of us. You may pay for a great sponsorship and you're told that you're going to get priority placement for a booth, and just something changes, and what are you going to do? Like it's too late. You're there. Your stuff's there. You paid for it. You know, even if you make a stink about it, it's not going to change. Your booth is where it is. So what do you do? What do you do when that happens? When you're not in the flow of traffic, or maybe you're in front of the ballroom, but everyone's going on this area for some reason on the expo, and no one's going on that area where your booth is. Like, what do you do? So we teach you how to make the most of a bad booth placement. And also you have email access as well. So if you're at an event and it happens, email me, please. We also give you extensive training on how to have a conversation, like I said, how to engage with people at the expo, what questions to ask. This is where a lot of people feel nervous about having a booth, is I just don't know what to say to really get people interested. So we talk about that. We role play on how to set up your consults there at this on the spot so that you can close sales. We also, this is really important, we give you accountability on creating a follow-up campaign before the event starts. Because if you don't create your follow-up emails that you're going to send out to your new leads before the event, it just doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen. Or you're scrambling to do it, and so you're not in your best mind to really create the emails. We also show you how to do an enter to win prize that stands out from the others. So at a lot of events, you'll see, hey, put your card in the bowl and you'll win this or you'll win that. So how do you do a prize that fits your business, makes your ideal clients opt in, not just anyone, and then also is interesting from the rest of them. And then we go into depth on sales training, which is a separate module in itself. We go deep into sales in general, but then we also talk about sales when you're a sponsor is a little bit of a twist. When you're a sponsor, you have a little bit more credit to play with. So, but we just do overall salesmanship and training in this conference, in Cashman Conferences training program. Honestly, just the sales training alone in this program is like 10 times worth it. So, I mean, what you can close just from doing a sales call over the phone from the sales training in this is incredible. So this, the sales training, I spend a lot of time on because that's what really matters and how you're going to make sales from this. Okay. I'm sorry, I can't see your comments right now in the chat if you have a question, since I'm sharing my screen. Okay, so then the next module is on being an attendee at conferences and events. So again, we talked about how there may be times where either because of budget or your business goals, it's better to be an attendee, or just you want to check out an event because you're not quite sure. So this is our top secret strategy. This is kind of when you get to be kind of ninja and stealth about this. And in this module, we show you exactly how to do that. How do you stand out even when you're an attendee and you close sales? You get people to sign up to be a client. How to set up the consultations, and then how to boost your odds of them actually showing up. There are two different styles, and I go into this in the sales, but there's two different sales styles at an event that's really important to know if you're a hunter or a gatherer. Because if you try to be the hunter when you're a gatherer, you're going to repel people and you're going to come across as like really desperate, or vice versa. So we talk about that. Already talked about that. The 3 different types of piggybacks. We teach you what those are. Piggyback events, how to plan your own piggyback event. And there's ways to do it for free too. How to build hype for your piggyback event to get people excited so that they want to come to it. And then if you're not allowed to host a piggyback event at the event, that has happened. The client didn't know to check with the event host or to check with the venue if they could do an event, and they ended up not being able to host it the way they wanted to. So we had to pivot, and we were able to support them and help them pivot and change and still do a piggyback event just in a different way. So we've talked a little bit about sales and how that's in this program, but I just want to address a couple other things that we do when we teach the sales, because the sales at the event, the sales process is different than the typical at an event than the typical sales process in general. There are certain objections that come up when you're at an event that you won't get after the event. So, you know, for example, someone will say, well, let me think about this, or let's touch base after the event. How do you overcome those objections? And then the sales process after the event, post-event, is going to be different as well. So we also do give you the best practices on how to do the marketing and follow-up to get the sales after the event, and how to work in tandem with your calls and your emails to get those sales. I love this too, because it's really paint by numbers with this, is we give you templates of actual emails that we've used to follow up after events. So I told you about how I've closed $100,000 at an event, but then that was like 2-3 years ago. I'm still getting sales up to this day from that event. That's because of the emails that I send out to follow up with them. So I actually give you templates of actual emails we've used in our follow-up after the event, so that it becomes so much easier for you to create all of that before the event, and you can just focus on your sponsorship or speaking and getting clients. And then at the end of the day, we want to look at, did it work? Right? Was this a success? Did I actually make money off of this? What was the profit? You should have made profit, but how successful was it? Is this an event that I want to do again next year? Or what did I learn from this? So I know if I should do it or not. Okay? So in a nutshell, that is the Cash Flow Conferences training program. Again, it's 10 modules that we go through, plus you get the workbooks. You get 2 templates and checklists and spreadsheets. You get 2 one-on-one calls with me. You also get lifetime access to the Q&A call, and we review your booth. The investment for the Cash from Conferences training program is $19.97 when you pay in full, or you can do 4 installments of $5.97. Your first would be your deposit today of $5.97, and then 3 monthly installments of $5.97. That is US dollars. Again, I just said this, but it includes, it's a 90-day program, 10 modules. You get the workbooks, templates, spreadsheets, email templates, 2 calls with me, monthly Q&A call access, review of your booth. Oh, and then this is really exciting. I added this into the program just recently. I have put together a group of guest experts. So there's additional content in here that is just not my gift, right? We talk about our superpowers. There are certain things that are just not my gift. So we have guest experts that have shared their brilliance and their wisdom in this program. So for example, we have Jessica Terzakis, who is someone who helps people put together programs and help them leverage their brilliance. So she talks about when and how to sell group programs. If you want to sell a program, when and how to sell group programs from sponsorships. Then we have a branding expert, Wendy Barr, who talks about how to have a brand that impresses people at an event and makes you stand out. We also have Chevelle McPherson, who is a lawyer, and she teaches you what you must have in your agreements to protect the sales that you close. This is really important. You close these sales, you want to keep these sales after the event. So what do you have to have in your agreements to protect yourself? And then we have Susan Terzakis, who's a business coach, and she talks about how to effectively scale and grow your business. So you get this influx of cash. Where do I put some of the money I want to reinvest in my business? How do I scale and grow so that I grow quickly, but I don't crash while I grow either? So these are just some of our guest experts that we have that I'm super excited to walk on to the training program. So that is also part of the Cash from Conferences training program. So if you were to do this work with me one-on-one, we have high-level clients that do work with me one-on-one on this strategy where we dig deep and we get into the process. This could easily be $10,000 to $15,000 where we work one-on-one. We sketch everything out. I teach you all of this from scratch and help you build out your strategies or even go to the events with you to help you close sales. That could be even more. But I want this to be something that's doable because I know this is a new process for a lot of you getting started, and it is an investment in your business, and you also have to invest in these events as well. So I want it to be something that's very reasonable and simple for you, which is why it's the investment that it is. So again, it's $19.97 when you pay in full, or 4 installments of $5.97. You can go to ateameventcompany.com/cash-from-conferences. That link right there is where you would go to take advantage of this to get the program. I'll share that again in just a moment. I want to share this with you because there's some people on here that may be new to business and might be thinking that they're not ready for this. So I want to share this with you. This is Caitlin Drago. This is a screenshot of an email that I got from her. She did this program a couple years ago. I can't see the date because my little box is in the way. 2016. So she took this program in 2016. And she says, I want to share some wins that I've already experienced. She's halfway through the program, already seeing results is the subject line. Some wins I've already experienced from using the course. Last week, I was getting dressed for a meeting. I was about to put on my regular flats, but decided to go for the nice pair of heels. One of the first things that a woman I met with did was compliment my outfit. It made me feel more confident, and we had a great conversation resulting in a possible partnership that could bring some income down the line. Last night, I went to an NHRA event, and I went against my usual habit, right? Anyone guilty of this one? Arriving a little later after the event starts and leaving before it ends. Now, this was a networking event, but the principles from this program still apply. And leaving before it ends. Instead, I got there early and stayed late. And you know what happened? About 20 minutes after the event had officially ended, I had a conversation with a woman who ended up saying, I think I could use someone like you. So I got out my calendar then and there. We set a time to meet. We met yesterday, and she gave me a verbal yes, and she's officially my first client. I'm so excited for the RBJ conference, and knowing you'll be there is giving me that extra feeling of accountability, not to cut corners or stand behind the table. This is so awesome. I cried, if I'm being honest, when I read this, because I was just starting to teach this as a set program, and to see her getting results like this was so exciting to me, because she had just started her business. She had just quit her job in corporate, I think maybe a month before. And so she was brand new to business. She didn't know much at all about business whatsoever. And her ideal client was corporate. It wasn't business owners. So she had a longer sales cycle than usual because it was a corporation, and she needed to be in front of the decision makers. So what we helped her do was find the events where she could get in front of the decision makers to shorten that sales cycle. Now, at that event, they can't whip out a credit card and a check and just buy. But like she says in this example, they set up a meeting right after the event, and she got the yes, and it was her first client. So whether you're new to business or you have what you think is a tricky ideal client, there are ways to still make this process work, shorten the sales cycle, or close clients at the event. Yeah, so I love this this testimonial from her, because she wasn't even halfway through the program and she was already getting these results. So I'm so excited for her. And this was a few years ago. So here is Caitlin now, same picture, but she just, we just caught up the other day, and she shared with me that when she took this program 3 years ago, she had just left her job and just got into owning her own business. What she says is that, when she was updating me about where she is that today she still uses the same principles and techniques, but now it's ingrained, right? Now she just does it automatically. She doesn't have to think about it. So especially when she's sponsoring, she knows what she needs to ask, right, to figure out if it's the best event for her. She knows how to set up her table. And so she's getting the most out of the money that she's investing in her business and the time in her business. And she gets what she needs. She gets the clients and the money that she needs out of the sponsorships that she does every time. What she said was, when I first took this program, I made back the investment within a couple months. And that was when she had just started her business and everything was brand new. So if you're already a seasoned pro, right, you start using this program right away, you should get results even faster. So she says now this is the core strategy. This is what she uses now consistently to get clients. This is her main strategy of getting clients. And she says three years later, she's still consistently using it to generate profits from speaking, sponsoring, and attending events. So I'm so proud of Caitlin. If you are watching this later, she wanted to be here tonight, but she couldn't. I'm so proud of you, and congratulations. I'm so excited for your business. So good for her. And then Linda Healer. So she was also a client that took this program a few years ago. And she was so kind with what she said, that working with us was one of the smartest business decisions I've ever made. I've worked with others who didn't deliver on their promises, disappeared over time. Alexis and her team's the real deal. If you're looking to grow your business and want a team that is honest, smart, hardworking, and easy to work with, I strongly recommend A-Team Event Company. So sweet of her. Working with A-Team was one of the smartest business decisions I've ever made. I think that's one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, that it was the smartest business decision she's ever made. So Linda is doing such a great job. She is a life coach, if you're curious. She's a life coach. Live Inspired Life Coaching is the name of her business. And she is doing phenomenal, doing small events and also going to events to get clients and working with strategies. So proud of you as well, Linda. So what I wanted to do tonight was, yes, I mentioned that the investment for this is $19.97, but I want you guys to be able to start using this program right away and getting the results like these people are. So for tonight, for this bootcamp only, the investment is $14.97. So I took a little bit off for you guys. It's $14.97 when you pay in full, or if you want to do installments, it's only $4.27. Okay, so $14.97, you pay a little bit if you pay in full while doing that, or you can do 4 installments of $4.27. So that would be a deposit this evening to get your place in the program for $4.27, and then 3 monthly additional payments of $4.27 as well. So if you want to take advantage of this, we updated the pricing on the website. You can go to our business website, ateameventcompany.com/cash from conferences, and there's those little hyphens in there. But if you just go to the website and you see our services, cash from conferences is there, and I put in the new price just for tonight for you guys. So if this is something that you want to do, we're making this discount available for you just for this bootcamp, because we want you guys to take action on what you're learning, and give you some accountability to take action on this and reward you for taking action. Also, for those of you that tonight only, I have a fast action bonus that you guys definitely want to take advantage of, because this alone is worth the investment for the program. I have 2 fast action bonuses, and this is for the people that take advantage of this program tonight. So again, you have to purchase the program tonight if you want to get this. The first one is a Jumpstart call with me one-on-one. So during this Jumpstart call, we're going to craft your message and cement your superpower proposition. So during this call, we are going to get super clear and zero in on your message and what your value proposition is. So if you're unclear on ideal clients and you're unclear on how to have a conversation around your value proposition, or what is the #1 problem that you solve in that value proposition, you and I are going to work together one-on-one, and we're going to nail that. So from this Jumpstart call, you and I are going to work together. We're going to get that straightened out so you don't have to stress about that. And so when you go to these events, you can walk in feeling confident and calm and know that you know what you're saying and you know what you're doing. That is fast action bonus #1 for the people that purchase this evening and invest in the Cash from Conferences program. #2 is my first event strategy call. So this is also a one-on-one call with me. This is in addition to the other calls you get in the program. So my first event strategy call, you and I are going to dig deep into what your why is. What is your business goals? Who is your ideal client? And then we're going to make a strategy around what you should be doing for your first event. So what strategy should you be using? Should you be an attendee? Based on where you are and your goals, should you be a sponsor or should you be a speaker, and what levels, right? How much should you be paying or not paying at all? And then we're also going to spend some time and look up a few events that could be a good opportunity for you to go and get clients. So this alone, right? This call, I've spent a day with people on this. But this call, we're going to be laser focused and we're going to get all of this accomplished. And in this call, you're going to walk away with a clear game plan of exactly what to do at your first event so you can leave with clients right away. So if this is a stretch of an investment for you to do, this is why I've included this as a fast action bonus, because I want you to be able to start making money and get clients for events right away. There could be an event that's only a couple weeks away from now and that you could go and leave with a client. So this again is the fast action bonus. This is for the people tonight only that purchase and invest in the Cash from Conferences training program. And again, the investment is $14.97 when you pay in full. You save a little bit. I think basically about a payment you save. or you can do 4 installments. Tonight, it's only $427 to get started. So you can claim those bonuses tonight by just doing a deposit of $427. That is US dollars. Just doing $427 tonight, you get the fast action bonus of the Jumpstart call and my first event strategy call. So that's where you can go to claim that, ateameventcompany.com/cash dash from dash conferences. You can go to that link. If you guys have any difficulty and you're trying to get that fast action bonus right now, and for some reason it's not letting you get the program, it could be because we've had too many people purchase it. There is a limiter on it, so it's possible. So if that happens, please reach out to me. Please email me, respond to the emails you got for this program or for this bootcamp, and just let me know. But you can just go to ateameventcompany.com and you'll see on our services tab, there is a section that says cash from conferences, and I've updated it with this pricing just for tonight, so you can get it there, okay? And then the last thing I want to share with you is something that I don't see very often is I'm giving you a 100% guarantee. A 100% guarantee on this program that if you invest in this program, you do the work, you show up, you can show me that you've gone through all of the modules, that you have submitted any homework, that you have done the work on this program, and that you worked this strategy and you didn't make your investment back, I will refund your money 100%. I have no interest in keeping your money if this doesn't work for you, because I want this to be something that you can rinse and repeat and use ongoing in your business. And if it's not going to work for you, then I don't want any ill will between us. So, and that's how confident I am, is that that won't happen. It hasn't happened. No one has ever asked for a refund because they do the work, they get results, period. This strategy works. I know it in my bones because I live it. This is what I do and how I help our clients get clients. And it's also how I find my clients. So I know that this works. You just have to have the process and know the strategies to make it work. So if you decide to go forward and invest in this program, and if within a year of using this program, you can show me that you did the work, you can show me that you did the modules, you can show me that you use these strategies, and you don't make your money back, 100%, I will refund every dime of it. So again, this program is starting February 1st. So we have a new bunch of people coming into this program again, and it's going to officially kick off on February 1st. But if you get started today and you get the fast action bonus, we can get your Jumpstart call and your My First Event Strategy call. We can get that booked right away so that we can get you started right away, even before February 1st if your calendar allows. But the program starts February 1st, so make sure that you jump on this now. The $14.97 when you pay in full is good tonight, or you can do the 4 installments of $427. So you only have to do the deposit of $427 tonight to get started. So again, we start February 1st, and you can go to ateameventcompany.com/cash-from-conferences to claim that. So I just want to, again, reiterate for you guys that I know there's a lot of information that you learned over these past 3 days, but what I want you to take away most of all is that business doesn't have to be as hard as we're making it. A lot of times we complicate things in our lives and in our business, and the most profound things are the most simplest. And that is the case with this program. And when you dial it back, when you feel like your business is in chaos and things aren't working and you don't have the cash flow that you want, you got to stop, right? Like I had that moment in the hotel room. You got to just stop and look at and be honest with yourself and say, what am I doing that's creating this situation? And look and examine it and be honest with yourself and say, how am I co-creating this situation? Because maybe you're doing way too much all at one time. And it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. It just means maybe you shouldn't be doing it all right now, or maybe you shouldn't be doing any of it right now. And what you need to go back is to the basics of what works in business. Go to where the leads are and close them. And that's exactly what Cash from Conferences teaches you. It teaches you the sales of how to close the clients at the event, and it teaches you how to go to the right events and then how to show up at these events in the right way so that you can close 5 to 6 figures in sales from conferences and events that you attend, sponsor, or speak. So you absolutely can do this. This is a real possibility for you to close 5 to 6 figures at any business event or at any event, and also through follow-up as well. So I just wanted to leave you guys with that, and I want to thank you as well for the time that you've invested with me, and I hope that you guys learned a ton of information, and if you have any questions, you feel free to let me know. Oh, also, for those of you that did listen to this recording or listen to the bootcamp tonight of day 3 and you stayed to the end, thank you so much. You guys will be receiving the gift that outlines a list of events and conferences that you can go to. And it's broken down already by, I believe, by target market or ideal client. So you can look up and see, okay, these are events for corporate, these are events for business owners, these are events for moms, these are, you know. So that gift will be coming to you. I will be checking with my team to see who stayed to the end, so you guys will get that gift as well. But the most important thing is, if you want to start with cash from conferences, make sure tonight you go to achieveventcompany.com/cash from conferences to get your fast action bonuses. But I just want to say thank you again so much. I appreciate your time and attention. And I can't wait to see how much cash you get from conferences. So have a good night, guys.